Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. This is Rich making another video on XRP today, as usual. So wherever you are in this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. This is from X Finance Bowl, and we will be discussing XRP. Everyone continues to claim that XRP is a fraud, whereas the XRP ledger recently tokenized US Treasury securities. That's the market worth $27 trillion. This is the beginning of adoption in the real world. XRP is still declining, which is a sign of generational illiteracy. As you can see, these T-bills are being tokenized. It's R-Shax, Z Economy, Ondo, and Open Eden. Additionally, the XRP ledger's tokenization is now only at $356.16 million. In terms of tokenization, we still have a long way to go. Compared to where we will be in a year, this is comparable to the early days of tokenization. Regulations are still the foundation of tokenization. As soon as those are cleared, everything is approved. The US Treasury Department is asking for public feedback on the implementation of the Genius Act stablecoin regulations. Thus, they are now making this public. There are just two issues with the Genius Act that I have. First and foremost, any stablecoin issued by a foreign entity should be eliminated. Put differently, Tether, take that bandage off right away. We already know that it will eventually fail. Why, in your opinion, did Tether introduce a brand new coin for the US market? Because banks will enter the custody game. They shouldn't be permitted to profit by custodying people's digital assets, according to the Inside the Genius Act. Definitely, they will desire custody of people's stable currency and other assets. They could only be able to provide the consumer 1% of the yield instead of all of it. Although many individuals will not even engage with digital assets until the banks are the ones providing them, I would never use the bank otherwise. With the commission approval, dozens of new spot ETFs no longer face the final obstacle. After you listen to this, I'll share my ideas with you. Speaking about the Rex Osprey, Eric came out here with a statement that was somewhat shocking. Naturally, this is the XRP ETF. There was a lot of turnover in a short amount of time. I believe he tweeted this about 90 minutes ago. Is this monster still growing at this rate at the moment? Have you checked the latest figures? It did slow down a little after opening, but it's having a really good day. I haven't checked in a little while, as if it were a very successful product launch. These products are shown in the screenshot you previously saw with the approval of the generic listing requirements. In a way, it's connected to this. Thus, the item you just displayed is compatible with the 1940 Act wrapper, and as a result, a generic listing center was established. We are therefore designed for goods that fall under the 1940 Act. That was basically a general listing center, but I don't want to get too caught up in the details. Thus, 75 days after filing a prospectus, those prospective products were able to launch. Solana was essentially coerced by Rex Osprey. The SEC was unable to block it because it complied with the regulations. Thus, they were able to launch Doge and XRP into that 40 Act wrapper, using legal and regulatory workarounds. That's right. As a result, even pure spot products, which typically go through the 19-step procedure I've discussed numerous times, now have to go through a 260-day process. This is essentially what happened with the generic listing centers. There are denials and delays when you visit the SEC repeatedly. With this generic listing center, it will no longer exist. In other words, the same kind of expedited procedure will apply to pure spot goods, which will only contain the spot underlying asset. All they have to do is get the prospectus accepted. To get your 19 before approved, you typically had to go through another division called Trading and Markets. This is akin to requesting a rule change, and you would have had to do that for every asset that came with this kind of wrapper. I believe the SEC felt that first there should have been a more efficient process from the beginning. This should have been done already. And second, we don't want to be issuing 20, 30 and 40-page reports approving every single product that tries to list a new crypto asset, as if they're simply not attempting that. Can the spot XRP ETFs launch earlier than we originally anticipated, given that the SEC has modified the regulations governing the spot ETF launch? Stated differently, will it no longer take till the end of October? Could it occur sooner? And that might really get this market rolling if it happens sooner. The fact that XRP ETFs and the price of XRP are declining simultaneously is not surprising at all. They do this. Thus, it probably also happens with grayscale ETFs. They are discussing the introduction of the Rex Osprey ETF. It was one of the best ETF debuts ever. After the introduction, the price of XRP dropped, and you could see that $37,751,596 had poured into the ETF. Records were broken. This illustrates what will happen to the remaining spot XRP ETFs. Additionally, keep in mind that they told us there was no market for an XRP spot ETF. They will do better than the Bitcoin ETFs over the long haul. Watch and see. However, this ETF launch did not result in a decline in the price of XRP. Along with the rest of the market, it fell. You must keep in mind that XRP continues to follow Bitcoin. It will disconnect eventually. Elon Musk was amazing. Waves from the project $20 billion could be invested in the XRP ETF during its initial phase. Now consider those $20 billion bucks. I believe that at first they anticipated receiving $8 billion from JP Morgan. Thus, as all of this money is moving into these ETFs, we're also gaining clarity. How on earth would XRP's price drop? Early in 2026 perhaps, the top of the market enters. Approximately 60, 70 and 80% of the crash is not visible to me. Neither funds and institutional approval. It doesn't. This comes from XRP Healthcare, which operates in emerging regions with limited access to healthcare through smartphones, lifelines and farms. You can carry along a holistic healthcare helper at all times with XRP Healthcare AI. Traditional medical insights, Doctor Connect, offline reminders and image uploads are all assisting low-income families in bridging the healthcare gap. Pay attention to what Ripple is doing. The unbanked are being banked by them. People who previously had access to healthcare are now receiving it thanks to XRP Healthcare. All of this is contained within a smartphone. I believe that XRP Healthcare will grow significantly in the future. It's something that in my opinion will keep expanding every year. Additionally, it will add value to the XRP ledger. I should have mentioned this in an earlier video, but it originates from Ripple. With Ripple Custody, XRP Korea, one of just 4 authorized cryptocurrency custodians in South Korea, offers safe institutional access to XRP, RLUSD, and other tokenized assets. We are all aware of how much South Korea adores XRP, which makes this significant. Thus, advanced digital asset custody, innovation, and commercial Ripple custody are the objectives. XRP controlled access to the entire life cycle, as evidenced by the XRP ledger. Ripple and XRP tokenization appears to be about to gain traction in Korea. Smoke is the source of this. XRP is cited by the UK International Journal of Economics as an illustration of how blockchain technology and older systems can be successfully integrated. They are referencing this at the same time that the Financial Conduct Authority of the United Kingdom intends to completely regulate cryptocurrency companies by 2026. In the UK, Ripple will be very popular. It will also be quite popular in the EU. South Korea and other nations will witness the global explosion of Ripple, which is not just due to the United States, as Ripple already has rails in each of these nations worldwide. Everyone is constantly discussing the next XRP killer, you know. Ripple net technology will be replaced by something it cannot be replaced. For 13 years Ripple has been laying the foundation. Alright, so if a company that is billed as the XRP and Ripple killer opens tomorrow, won't it take them 10 years to set up all of its rails? There's no logic behind it. XRP has been selected. The future lies in XRP. Global infrastructure is already in place for Ripple. The source of this is Black Swan Capitalist. The cryptocurrency industry still exhibits well-known boom-bust cycles, despite being more developed now with deeper institutional funding, clear laws and slow real adoption. When it comes to this, history is brutal. Human behavior